I know that we are the final act of the day, and we would want to hold you back from your cocktail hours and emails. So we're going to get straight to it. This panel is going to talk about the sales aspect of a law firm and how different departments have now really developed at different firms, and how we can do some personal branding if our firm has not accepted sales as a role yet. And Clint's going to share that with us. But I want to introduce my panel. Rudy Gaines here. He's going to share a little bit about what he does. We have Catherine Zinn, Jonathan, and Clint Arthur. They're going to introduce themselves right now. I'm Michelle Murray. I'm CMO over at Cahill. We are at 89 downtown, and I have a giant team of 2.
Yeah, Rudy Gaines. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll share.
Hey, how you doing? Rudy Gaines, I'm the Director of Client Service at Waldemar Dickinson in Raleigh, North Carolina. They're a team of 7 of us over 18 offices. I work with our Raleigh and RTT group, and very happy to be here. Great to meet you.
I'm Catherine Zinn. I'm the Chief Client Officer at Warwick, Harrington and Sutcliffe, and I'm best known for being involved in market-facing sales for the last 24 years, but I oversee a team that includes sales and as well as about 100 other people.
Thank you. My name is Jonathan Gardner. I'm the Managing Director of Business Development for Nelson Mullins. I've been at Nelson Mullins for 8 years and started the business development function. Prior to that, I spent 15 years at Ernst & Young and PricewaterhouseCoopers. So my background is in business development and sales from the Big Four accounting and consulting firm.
Hey everybody, I'm Clint Arthur. I am a celebrity entrepreneur, and I create celebrity for experts so that you don't have to sell, clients come to you. That's the whole purpose of this type of celebrity marketing. And oh yeah, it's a wonderful thing. My wife and I are the team, and we work directly with individual experts, small firms, medium-sized firms, and it's a lot of fun.
So as you all know, sales and business development professionals are really becoming part of the mainstay now in law firms. We are evolving into what the Big Four have had for many, many years. And I think that what many firms struggle with as they start to build out this opportunity is how do you compensate? So we're going to start from there. I know it's in the back of a lot of firms want to understand how can we go to our managing team, whether it's an ex-com, a chairman, or a managing partner, and explain how you can have this team and still be within the rules of professional conduct. Guys?
John, you want to start that?
Yeah, sure. That's my question. So, actually, I'm going to level set, just step back one little bit higher level, and just say, in terms of market-facing sales executives within the AmLaw, what's that? In the AmLaw 100, there are 25% of the AmLaw 100 have at least one market-facing sales executive. And actually within the smaller, I'll just say regional firms, and I will say that I actually think the most effective sales is actually happening in smaller firms. And I regret that I actually don't know the percentage of sales executives that are in the smaller firms, if you will. But that's just a helpful thing to know. And then another level set is there are some law firms such as I was at Daly Piper for 10 years, Warwick, Rhodes, Swamble, Cooley, and quite a few others that have had a market-facing sales team for more than 10 years. Sorry, Warwick is a little bit newer than that. But I think it's helpful for people to know that this didn't happen yesterday, and I would say just before we jump into comp, there is a groundswell. This used to be sort of an anomaly and something really weird, if not completely freaked people out, people being often partners at large law firms. This is just happening. And folks can choose to adopt or not, but I would say this is not just a weird little experiment anymore. So in terms of comp, here's what I'm seeing, but I don't think there are any hard and fast rules. I think everybody knows that you cannot pay a non-lawyer a commission or a referral fee. I will say separately, 50% of the individuals who currently serve in these roles, and these are approximate numbers just so we have kind of an operating definition. So 50% of the people who serve in these roles, including at work on my team, they are lawyers. So technically, they could get paid in the same way that two lawyers could have a referral fee between one another. However, at DLA and at work and all of these places, we're very cautious about making sure that the comp and bonus in particular is in no way tied to revenue, period. So how do we do that? In our case, I'll just say there's a set of goals, and there isn't a revenue goal there. There are things like level involvement. Did you originate it? Were you at the pitch? Or were you in an also equally important supporting role? And we do weight those things a little bit differently. So, there's generally a matrix involved. Again, the goals tied directly to the strategy and the area of the firm that you're focused on. And, frankly, after that, you get paid pretty much any other salesperson. The other thing you're probably wondering is like, I'm going to go there. How much? How much are you paying these people? So I'm not going to mention specific numbers here from the stage, but I'm always happy to speak directly with people. I'm going to give you a range. The range of the bases, and by the way, raise your hand if you're aware of a different number, because this is a very fast-moving and evolving profession, and the numbers are going way up. So here's the base, is anywhere from 150, and I'm well aware of positions that the base, and this is for a sales executive, not for us, not for the bosses. We might have different comp structures. So the base is anywhere from 150, and I'm aware of some that are at 550, and the bonus is anywhere from 20 to 40, eligible for 20 to 40% of their base. So those are real numbers at the top end. And lastly, I'll just say, those who are up at that upper, they have a proven track record of success. They have a badass network that they bring to the table that is actionable on day one. So in my case, I know general counsels of public technology companies. That's my gig. That's what I've always had. And so that's cool. And people maybe are going to pay a little bit more for that. But the last thing is that many people don't make it in these roles, and they're excellent salespeople, and they can pull down big numbers at another place, not at a law firm, because they cannot function within a law firm. They don't know when to turn up the confidence dial and when to turn it down, and they fail.
And I'm going to try to follow that. And Womble is interesting because our conversation is based on our culture and how involved you are in our culture. So, for instance, we have something that's called EPPR, which is a year-long training regimen that we put our partners who want to become equity partners through. And that's 11 meetings throughout a year where you're sitting down face-to-face with them. You're going through sales techniques. We even brought in Miller Hyman, which is a well-known sales team, to come in and train our partners. And so I'm fully involved in that. We have something called a town hall meeting, which I host once a month, firm-wide through VC. So, I mean, part of your job is to be visible in a law firm. Part of your job is to show up, to walk in doors, and knock on doors, say hello, how's it going today, what can we work on, And so, in terms of Womble, obviously, the kind of dollars that are brought in with your help matters. It's not added up necessarily, but people look at that, and in the end, they ask you to pick 10 attorneys that you've worked with to advocate for you. So when compensation comes up, you've got 10 attorneys that you've spent the year working with, and they're the ones that go back and say, this is what he's done for me. And I've only been doing it 2 years now, but it's been A-okay.
One quick follow-up to that. On the internal perspective of the partners, we give the partners a rating scale, 1 to 5. How did you rate our business development professionals? Now, when it comes to the compensation, you are competing for these professionals against the big 4 firms, the management consulting firms, the technology outsourcing firms. So these packages, however they structure them, have to be competitive, or we're not going to be able to attract and recruit these professionals into the marketplace.
If I could just tag on a little bit, I'm 100% project-based. I work directly with clients. I come in and speak and change mindsets. And for a lot of attorneys, it helps to get them in the mindset of they are the talent and they have direct sales responsibility, and that's a very important thing for these lawyers to transform into understanding that they are what people are buying. And then as far as when I'm working with individual clients, from time to time I get clients who say, can't you just do it on a percentage basis? I'm really not interested in percentages. I just have flat fees that people pay to get the results that I guarantee to deliver. So that's how I do it.
I'm actually curious in the room, how many people are in the room now from law firms, like work in-house at law firms? And of you, how many of you have a client-facing business development role already in your law firm? Okay. Okay, so we're going to move on, and I'm just curious. As we've said, as Catherine actually pointed out, for 10 years, some of the most progressive firms have had these roles. I happen to work at a firm that does not currently have that role, and yet in my business development, when I put on my business development hat and take off the other hats I get to wear, we do interact with general counsel because they often need maybe some research or something that you will do for them. And so I think there are firms who are still dipping their toe in the water. And I'm curious, when you were client-facing, how did you see the role, even within the firm as you started it? Like, Jonathan, I know you started this role at your firm. How did it evolve since you started there?
When I started the role, I actually had a proactive conversation with our managing partner over a 6-month period trying to develop what the role would be. And so when I came on board, there was a little bit of a lack of confidence, a little bit of skepticism, and a little bit of relationship building that had to occur between myself and the partners. And what I found was, as I started to bring our partners into new opportunities, into places they had never been before, into companies, whether it be technology companies or venture capitalist tech-backed companies, that they started to understand that, hey, wait a minute, this is a business executive. This is someone that is able to drive relationships and bring us opportunities. And as that started to flow, and as revenue started to occur, the partners felt more comfortable allowing me to meet with their clients that we're currently doing work for, because they've already seen me be successful on the new client side. So my transition was proving the model for going out and creating new opportunities, building trust with the partners, to now I literally have the opportunity to go meet with any client of our firm at any time, and most of our partners are very embracive to that, because as you all know, the easiest client to grow is the existing client, the client we're currently serving. And law firms traditionally don't do a good job, and I don't know if that's because of metrics or culture, but holistically law firms, from my research, don't do as good of a job as other industries at creating an institutionalized, account-centric relationship. And so that's kind of the transition of the business development organization at Nelson Mullins, and we have 4 professionals. We proved ourselves on new accounts, or what we call greenfield accounts. We built relationships with the partners and trust, and now we brought it over to the existing client, which I think is really where the value is.
I'm really glad you mentioned that what we refer to as key accounts. So the sales team is assigned to the 50 global key accounts of the firm, which, by the way, it's critically important that you're collaborating with your colleagues in marketing, and that's a whole other panel and a really worthwhile discussion, that you not have these teams in a silo. It can make for unhappy people and inefficiencies. But the key accounts we did is we have a sales team member who drives those accounts. These are the largest companies in the world in tech, energy, and finance, which is where the firm really focuses. So, we did make that decision. So we have a mix of greenfield, essentially, so bringing brand new business to the firm is going to be in each one of the sales executives' goals every year. But I would say that frankly, that your ability to work with the attorneys on those client teams, and also the sales executive has direct client contact on all of those teams, so we are aligned by industry as well. I think that's really important. So I actually think that that's probably the harder part of the job. The greenfield is frankly a little bit easier.
But philosophically, it might not be the right solution.
Yeah.
Or adding the right amount of value to the firm.
Yeah.
Compared to growing. And so that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
We've always been striving towards working on the existing client base. We have to prove ourselves.
Yeah, and the other thing that is challenging for your sales executives when they come in, for those of you that are building teams right now, is they want to make their mark and bring in a new client. And actually the large law firms, for us, we really struggle with the conflicts and the tail. So it's a point of tension, so we always have to have a significant portion of the sales executive's focus beyond existing clients, because she may have an amazing contact and we're like, I'm so sorry, we personally, we don't do work for Google. The other thing I was going to say is just briefly tell a story about DLA, because I think it's really instructive, and frankly, I remind myself of this from a humility standpoint, where, at DLA, this was 14 years ago, and you think of that sales team, by the way, amazing woman, Erin Dimery, who runs that team now, as well as other functions. I think I can't remember if there are 11 or 12 sales executives at DLA, which is one of the larger law firms in the world with 1,000 partners, so it's a pretty big place. But, there were 2 of us for like 4 years. So I was there for 10 years, but there were 2 of us for 4 years, and then a couple of people who came in and out over that period of time that came and it didn't work. I personally think they didn't give them enough time. You have got to give your salesperson, well, I'm really curious what you guys think. I think they need 2 years. 2 years, especially if they're focused.
Yeah, I'm 2 years in right now, so.
It could be, I think you're gonna make it. No.
Okay, so far, okay.
But I did want to say this really cool thing happened, because you have to do, what you did is phenomenal in terms of gaining traction so quickly. That's quite stunning, frankly. We weren't as fast, but we had to first work with the coalition of the willing. We had to make sure that there were plenty of partners that were going to say, these folks have been valuable to me and to my practice. But something happened, which I just want to say is a real tension, especially for a coach such as yourself. It sounds like what you do is really valuable, except for we would never do what you do, because we believe that, frankly, any firm, and I'm not talking about Oric, I'm not talking about DLA, a very small percentage of the partners are varsity, and I don't actually want most of them out there selling. Can they do productive business development activities? Do they have a network that can translate into business? Of course they can, but I will tell you, I am not going to spend my precious time turning people into, try to turn them into salespeople that never can make it. Never. Don't want them doing it. It hurts the firm. Don't want it. So where I'm going with this is, at DLA, something happened. There was a groundswell, and the conversation went from, who are those weird people out in the market trying to get up in my business, to, I want one. Going to the chairman of the firm, I want a sales executive, and it is the one department that is frankly off the hook growing, for example, at DLA. So also then we had to stop working with the majority of the lawyers in the firm. We only focused on the varsity. And with all due respect, that's largely true at Oric as well.
And we don't really focus on the individual lawyers when we're spending our time internally. We focus on the clients, the internal clients.
100%.
So it's challenging, because when I first got to the firm, it was go coach every individual lawyer, and that's challenging. So
you won't make it.
Yeah.
You won't make it.
So it's going to be client focused on the internal side, from my perspective.
And one of the things that I learned very quickly, I asked to go on 10 pitches with attorneys right from the go. And with 9 out of 10 of those pitches, the attorney spent 80% of the time talking about what he did. And I went, when are you going to ask a question of your client to find out what he needs, and then see if you can offer him something to help his problem? And that's from my end of it, it's got to be client-facing. It's got to be asking really great questions. It's got to be getting in conversations. You're not selling anything. Never sell anything. And that's been a tough message for some people to hear, because they want to go in there and talk about, you know, all the shit they've done, you know, which is not generally a good thing.
I agree. That's really important, because who you are, especially when you're selling a product or service that everybody else is selling the same thing, who you are is more important than what you actually do. And celebrities sell without selling by being the beacon, by being the brightest shining star in the marketplace. People want the best, and they will pay a premium for the best. And that's what celebrity entrepreneurship is all about, positioning the attorneys as the only possible choice, because they are the best possible choice in the marketplace.
Just a quick question. I'd love to know how much revenue did your sales units bring in last year? Each of the you guys have the sales team as a team.
My team was about 15 million last year.
We were 15.1. Like that, right?
Yeah.
Bring in is such a, I kind of have to have you define
That's a good point.
bring in, and I frankly would never, we have to understate, for all of my bravado and confidence, and I have plenty, we have to understate our roles. I never want it, so you're the partner in this scenario and I'm the salesperson, I never want there to be a sense that because I introduced you to the general counsel of Cisco, that I get origination credit. Bullshit. His name is Mark Chandler and he doesn't hire me, I am not a lawyer. He's hiring you. And the day that you feel like you're in competition with me, it's close to the end of my job.
Correct.
This is a good segue into the general conversation.
We track separately outside of the system, so you're right. Lawyers are covered with competition. We don't compete with them from a metrics perspective. They own the metrics. They own the relationship.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody has their, you know, their talent, their particular field that they, I know trademarks very well, so when I went into Waffle, I had a couple of big clients that came with me, essentially. I'm not an attorney, but I worked with them. I had a great relationship with them and introduced them to our Waffle folks, and they got that work, but that has nothing to do with me. You know, I walked away from that as soon as there was a relationship partner to take over that and start doing the business. Obviously, I stayed close with those folks, but that's their work. I've done my job, you know, and I stay in touch. And of course, hear how we're doing, listen to, but that's the lawyer's job.
So I would actually say it's a little different at ORIC, and this is true at DLA. So I and my colleagues, the team, we do get the first call from the general counsel if she's happy or she's sad or something in between. So we are sometimes the first call. And I know that might sound stunning and weird. We don't try to force it. If the relationship has evolved into in that direction, that is in fact in service to the firm and to the partners. So I know you didn't walk away, I know you don't mean that, but actually that's a point of, could be a real point of friction and tension, what I just said. We're comfortable with it, and our chairman is as well, but
Where I grew up at Ernst & Young and PricewaterhouseCoopers, the business development professionals are managing the non-audit clients of the firm. So from an audit, and that's the way I grew up, that's the way we grew up. So from an audit perspective, if PwC is auditing Goldman, there's an audit partner. For the non-audit clients, the big four firms call them channel clients. And those are more advisory and consulting services. It's very common for a business development professional to be called the coordinating partner for those types of clients, where they manage the relationship completely, and they are the single point of contact for the client, and then they work with all the partners behind that. And so I think what you talk about, where the client actually looks at you as part of the client service team, and doesn't look at you as a non-lawyer, I think is kind of the transition.
And the most important things that we do is actually when the client calls and says, Zin, do you have somebody who does this? She trusts me to say, I'm really glad that you called. And if I don't know, because I might not know, because we're a big firm and I can't know everything, but I will say to her, you know what? No, I'm not sure. You know, I'm not sure. And so that's part of it too. And many relationships partners do that exceptionally well, and some, as you guys know, well, I mean, you guys know this, that we say yes to things sometimes, and it is also the beginning of the end of the relationship.
You can read books on professional client relationship management, and fantastic lawyering is a big component of that. But there's a lot of soft skills that go into managing a professional services relationship. You know, are you proactively meeting with the client? Are you driving value outside of the legal relationship? At the beginning of each matter, are you scoping out the matter and clearly communicating expectations of the matter? Are you communicating along the way at the end of the matter? You know, are you asking how we did? And so, you know, all of those softer skills of relationship management, I think clients do appreciate, and my team provides a lot of those softer skills to try to surround the core lawyer or the lawyers and what they're providing to those relationship management skills.
So at my last firm, we divvied up the role, right? So we had a marketing role, it had something to do with the firm, and if it had anything to do with the client, it fell into my role. And what I'm going to segue now into is asking Clint, who hires you at a law firm? Is it the lawyer? Is it the chief operating officer? Is it CMO? Is it one of the VD, like I have VD? I'd like to kind of understand how you come in and work with the team.
Generally, my clients have skin in the game, and they want the unfair competitive advantage that you can only get by being a celebrity expert in your field. So the person who's going to hire me is a person who generally has a credit card with their name on it, or is running a firm and wants to build their status at the top of that firm even more. When I come in as a speaker to train groups of professionals, that comes in under the auspices of the marketing department, and that marketing department brings me in to work for them, for the CMO. I'm working for the CMO to help make his or her job easier in terms of marketing the assets of the firm.
Awesome. So, Jonathan, Reed, and Catherine, I'm going to ask you, who do you report to at your firms? Jonathan.
I report to our chief operations partner.
Catherine?
I report to the COO and the chairman.
I report to our chief strategy officer.
So, as a follow-up to that, I'm guessing, like, in your world, because, you know, everyone's going to have it set up differently at their firms, and those who don't have it and are trying to develop it are trying to figure out, well, how do we divvy up these tasks, and like what, like besides taking the call from the client, like what else do you do, right? So I'm going to start with Rudy. Can you kind of give us all the different things you guys can do in your department?
Sure. So obviously, you know, there's marketing and, you know, direct to client service, and while we work kind of hand in hand, I mean, but it also is about what particular talent you bring to it. I'm a good writer, and so I end up working a lot on very lawyerly documents that don't need to sound like lawyerly documents, up to and including important client emails. And an attorney may come to me and say, how do I phrase this? How do I do a ton of that. We rehearse pitches. You know, we're going in to see a big company and there's 5 or 6 attorneys. We will sit down and have 3 rehearsals. How's this meeting going to go? You know, we know what the meeting's about. We know what they want to hear. How are we going to present it the best possible way? We'll sit down. We'll beat it out. We'll go through it. That's been helpful. I help with presentations. I coach if an attorney's got a presentation they're making to a group and they want me to sit down and listen to it, work on their PowerPoints with them. Anything that's going to help them walk out into the world and make a better presentation than they normally would, I get involved in that pretty quickly.
What about CI? Do you do that?
We have an entire group that handles all that. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'll just say we functionally have basically 3 departments: sales, marketing, and communications, but we have a huge competitive intelligence, IT, etc. So I'm actually not going to speak to that, but we're blessed. We couldn't walk a day in this world successfully without those men and women. So sales generally doesn't get involved in writing responses to RFPs unless they're a really good writer, or we try to drag what the key themes should be. So I would say marketing is what you would think of as a traditional marketing function, and aligned by sector and practice group and business unit. Additionally, going back to there's a lot of overlap where we do 1,000 events a year, and that's a partnership between sales and marketing, and it's a really, really important part of what we do. We spend a lot of money, and it is a big driver of Greenfield as well as key client events as well. Another the most fun things, frankly, I think that are in sales are our alumni program. We have a robust jobs referral network that is myself and my colleagues working with the partners to place general counsels and other senior in-house lawyers at companies, which is a blast. And additionally, we do place other executives from time to time, but I would say we don't have, so that would be CFOs and others, not often, but sometimes. My personal passion is placing directors on public company boards with an emphasis on diversity. It's just an area I've spent a lot of time focused on and serve on a board that thankfully gives me access to knowing about the opportunities and who's great at what. We also are we sales are very engaged in lateral partner recruiting because what we just found was important. We're really good at bringing talent in, but we need to make sure that there's a plan that works well. It's not sales alone, but it's a really big part of the role. So I guess just backing up further, some people are like, who's in charge? Well, we have a chief client officer, and then we have a chief communications officer, and we have no CMO. And somehow things seem to be working reasonably well. But I'll just say that's the structure in case you're curious.
At Nelson Mullins, we split the team into two separate teams, our marketing team and our business development team, which I oversee. But we work very closely. We're integrated, but we literally are two separate organizations, and we report directly to the chief operations partner. From the external part of the role, we focus at least 50% of our time meeting with existing clients, going to meet with potential new clients, which we call Greenfield, and then going to meet with referral sources, whether they're investment banks, venture capitalists, the accounting firms, etc. So again, the role that we've designed is 50% in the marketplace. Internally, we like to focus a lot of our time on looking at those clients that we serve and bringing the partners together on account planning workshops or account planning discussions around strategizing of who we know, who we don't know, who we're competing against, and how we grow the existing relationship. At PricewaterhouseCoopers, I had one client called Bank of America. It was a $180 million a year client for us. And our goal was to take it to a $300 million client.
And how many were on your client team? This is always stunning.
Over 700 globally. And so, the account planning session, we would bring everyone around the globe together for 4 days, 3 to 4 days, to try to integrate that. So again, that's at a macro level. So I'm trying to take that same approach to our law firm that I've been at for 8 years. It's not quite as sophisticated as that. But again, if we're doing work with a client and that client's legal spend is $20 million and we're getting $1 million and sometimes we feel great about ourselves, why are we not getting $2 million? Why are we not getting $4 million? So those internal strategies around those clients is a big deal. And also you mentioned laterals. We don't spend as much time, and I love that idea, on the recruitment of laterals. I think we should. I took that down as a best practice that I'm going to try to, but we do spend a lot of time integrating our laterals to make sure that they understand who is where and what clients we serve and how to get them best engaged into the firm.
We don't even bother with laterals. I mean, we bring them actually, I will say our laterals are generally out of government. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, more than 85% of my partners are homegrown. They were summer associates. So we're just lucky. It's fun to be a firm that's 100 years old. So Clint, you were saying that you try to change the mindset. So you're trying to change both the mindset of the lawyer on how they approach their business development activities and the mindset of their target and trying to teach them how to make themselves look like a trusted advisor, right?